Madam President, I thank Deputy Special Coordinator Alak Barov for his briefing. The situation in the Middle East continues to escalate, with hotspot issues affecting one another, casting a shadow of conflict over the entire region. Restoring peace is the fervent hope of the people there, and achieving a ceasefire to end violence must be the overriding priority. The Palestinian issue remains at the core of the Middle East conflict and must not be ignored or marginalized. Only by achieving a comprehensive, just, and lasting solution to the Palestinian issue can we break the vicious cycle of recurring conflicts in the Middle East and truly usher in the dawn of peace. I would like to emphasize 3 points. First, civilian suffering cannot continue, and peace and stability in Gaza must be restored. The Gaza ceasefire agreement was reached more than 9 months ago, yet bombings and blockade continue, and more than 2 million people remain trapped in the threat of death and displacement. Lasting security can only be built on respect and mutual trust. Fighting and ruins breed only hatred and division or confrontation. Gaza is not a perpetual battlefield, and suffering and turmoil are certainly not the destiny for Gazans. We call on Israel and all parties concerned to fully implement the ceasefire agreement and achieve a genuine, lasting ceasefire in Gaza. Israel must fulfill its obligations under international humanitarian law, cease restricting humanitarian supplies into Gaza, and ensure that humanitarian agencies, including UNRWA, can carry out their aid operations. Second, the international rule of law must not be compromised, and tensions in the West Bank must be eased. The current settler violence in the West Bank is appalling, resulting in large civilian casualties and destruction of homes. The occupying power is speeding up its settlement expansion and eroding Palestinian territory. Despite strong appeals from the international community, the situation in the West Bank continues to worsen. A key reason for this is the unrealized investigation and accountability and the persistence of impunity. International law and Council Resolution 2334 must be respected and abided by, and any double standards and selective applications are unacceptable. We urge Israel to immediately cease settlement activities, take concrete actions to curb violence, and ensure strict accountability for all attacks. The West Bank economy is already struggling. Israel should return the tax revenue as soon as possible and lift unreasonable restrictions on the West Bank. Third, fairness and justice must not be absent. We must push for implementing the two-state solution. For decades, the Palestine-Israel situation has seen repeated turbulence. The problem lies in the two-state solution being realized only halfway. Israel became an independent state a long time ago, but a Palestinian state remains a distant prospect. The international community must stay firmly anchored to the general direction of the two-state solution, put greater efforts, and take irreversible action. Any arrangement or establishment of new mechanisms must adhere to the principle of Palestinians governing Palestine, respect the will of the Palestinian people, and promote rather than undermine the two-state solution. Any dangerous attempt to change the territorial and demographic composition of Palestine will severely undermine the foundation for the two-state solution and must be firmly opposed. China supports the early establishment of an independent Palestinian state with full sovereignty based on the 1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as its capital. President, China is deeply concerned with the recent escalation of tension in the Gulf region of the Middle East. The MOU signed over a month ago is a valuable achievement of the many through good offices and mediation. It embodies the hope of the people in the Middle East to end the war for peace and stability, and these efforts should not go to waste. Now the door has opened for negotiation. It should not be shut. As long as there is still hope for peace, our efforts should not be abandoned. The most urgent task now is to adhere to the path of diffusing disputes through negotiations and return to implementing the MOU consensus. China will continue to support the good offices of Pakistan and others, early resumption of dialogue and negotiations by parties concerned, early resumption of the normal and safe passage of the Strait of Hormuz, improvement of relations among neighboring countries, and joint pursuit of collective security for the Gulf states. The Red Sea is an important route for international trade. All parties concerned should respect the rights of navigation in the Red Sea by commercial vessels of all countries in accordance with international law, respect the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of all nations, and jointly safeguard the safety and unimpeded flow of international shipping lanes. All parties concerned should continue to properly diffuse conflicts and differences through dialogue and consultation and avoid taking actions that exacerbate confrontation. We welcome the de-escalation in the Lebanon-Israel situation. All parties concerned should cease hostilities and fully implement Resolution 7001, and Israel should withdraw all its troops from Lebanon. China supports Syria in maintaining sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity. Golan Heights is an occupied Syrian territory recognized by the international community, and the 1974 disengagement agreement should be abided by. The Middle East belongs to the people of the Middle East. It should not become an arena for great power rivalry or a victim of geopolitics. China will continue to uphold the spirit of the four-point proposal put forward by President Xi Jinping on maintaining and promoting peace and stability in the Middle East. We will work together with the international community to advance political solutions to regional hotspot issues, support regional countries in upholding their autonomy and rebuilding mutual trust, build a new regional security architecture adapted to evolving circumstances, and achieve lasting peace and stability in the Middle East. Thank you, Madam President.
I thank the representative of China for the statement.